So I always shoot from the hip when it comes to these videos and when it comes to my particular opinion on certain subjects like this. Now, this I thought was a very interesting thing because you just have to be honest about it and say that Xbox is doing very well and Xbox is catching up in certain ways when it comes to what they're doing versus PlayStation. I think this is a culmination of things. I think obviously Xbox doing a lot of the right things in terms of what they're saying and what they're doing, and you know, I think that there's a little the funny thing is, and just let me kind of like, this is my opinion on things, right? Xbox, like Microsoft, knows that most of the money that they're going to make through gaming is going to be through their console, right? I mean, you could sit there and go, well, PC this or PC that or mobile this or mobile that, but at the end of the day, it's already been proven that, like, when it comes to like the streaming and the mobile stuff, that's already someone who's a customer. And while we could sit there and go, oh, well, look at the Steam charts, look at the Steam charts. Like, if you look at the Steam charts on the most active playlist, it's always the same games. Dota 2, Counter-Strike, you know, it's these games. It's never the Xbox games. I mean, like, how the Steam things work, I'm not exactly sure. But, you know, supposedly, like, Sea of Thieves did 1 million plus on Steam, which, you know, sounds okay, but in the grand scheme of thing with, you know, 100 million users is not exactly lighting up the charts. Now, conversely, we can look and see where console game sales can be huge, right? Like, look at Minecraft on the Xbox 360. Microsoft paid for a year exclusivity on the Xbox 360 on that, and it sold 20 million copies. Now, we look at some of these games on PlayStation, like Spider-Man sold 20 plus million copies. You know, God of War supposedly over 20 million. Last of Us over 20 million. That's an incredible feat, because when we look at games and we look at even multi-plat games, something like Mortal Kombat, and I think I mentioned this in another video, like Mortal Kombat 11 sold 12 million copies across every platform. That's a huge multi-platform game, and it only did 12 million. I don't want to say only did, because that's an incredible success, but, you know, and compare it to something like Horizon Zero Dawn, which did that by itself on PS4, or, you know, you know, any of the Uncharted 4, which did 16, 17 million. So, you know, it's very interesting the way this kind of goes out. Now, Microsoft themselves have done a really good job of coming across as super friendly, right? Oh, we're so for the gamers, and that's a good one. I think they've done a really good job of that. You know, you have the media supporting them now. You have influencers supporting them now, and that's really going to help them out. You have Sony kind of shooting themselves in the foot lately. Of course, the pandemic doesn't help anything, hasn't helped anybody, but now, you know, Microsoft has announced some of their numbers and things like that. You know, not so much numbers, but with how it's doing, and it looks like they're onto something. During the Q4 2021 earnings call, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella actually went out of his way and reiterated the company's commitment to gaming. He also revealed that the Xbox Series S and X consoles that debuted on November 10th, 2020 are the fastest selling Microsoft has ever built. This is what they had to say. Gaming is the largest category in the entertainment business, and we are expanding our opportunity to reach the world's 3 billion gamers wherever and whenever they play, which, again, I think that's more of a corporate line than anything. We are all in on games. At E3 last month, we unveiled our biggest games lineup ever, announcing 27 new titles which will be available to Game Pass subscribers. Game Pass is growing rapidly and is transforming how people discover, connect, and play games. Subscribers play approximately 40% more games and spend 50% more than non-members. We continue to lead in the fast-growing cloud gaming market with last month. Just last month, we made Xbox Cloud Gaming available on PCs as well as Apple phones and tablets via the browser in 22 countries, with more to come. Millions have already streamed games to their desktop, laptops, and phones. And the Xbox Series S and X are our fastest selling consoles ever, with more consoles sold live to date than any previous generation. Finally, we continue to grow our opportunity in the creator economy, adding new ways for players to build and monetize their creations in many of our most popular games, including Flight Simulator and Minecraft. Creators earn more than double what they did a year ago across our titles. The comment from Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella in particular valuable, as the company stopped sharing hardware unit sales a long while ago. However, Nyko Partners analyst Daniel Ahmed, or Z Huge, as a lot of people know him, revealed estimates to put combined sales of the Xbox Series S and X to 6.5 million units as of the end of last month, compared to the 5.7 million units for the Xbox One in that same period of time. So basically, you have a situation where there's 800,000 more units than the Xbox One at the same time. And it's hard to believe this, but the Xbox 360 in the same time frame only had 5 million units sold. So yeah, to have 1.5 million more sold than the Xbox 360, I think that says a lot about what they're doing. And you know, it looks like people are finally out there forgiving what Microsoft has done, their past transgressions and things like that, which I think is cool. I think you can only hold that stuff against them for so long. And it's also good to see that, you know, Microsoft has realized that, you know, games are important and games matter, and that's something that I think that they really didn't sell into for a very long time. You know, it wasn't like their big focus, especially the Xbox One. That's just a hideous. We might as well just go, like, despite obviously without the first few years, the worst situation of exclusive games that we've ever seen. So, Z Huge says they estimate that the Xbox Series X and S total sell-in was 6.5 million as of June 30th. Of course, obviously, the Xbox One shipped more than the 360 early on, but the 360 outsold it over time. The Series X and S should do a better job maintaining its lead, giving its dual SKU strategy and content Game Pass focus this generation. See, this is where I agree. Like, I think that Xbox will continue to do extremely well. And is it like catching up to PlayStation? Okay, well, 6.5 million to, you know, 10.5 million PlayStation 5s, which is what Sony announced is over 10 million. So, you know, a 4 million lead, that's still pretty good. And usually the first one to 10 million wins the generation. I mean, that is a phenomenal thing. I'm not saying that PlayStation's in like super jeopardy or in danger, but it is very interesting to see that, you know, it's not exactly a 2-0 lead. And I mean, obviously there's supply constraints on both ends. I mean, if there was no supply constraints, in my opinion, we could be seeing some upwards of 20 million PlayStation 5 sold and 10 million Xboxes sold. But we aren't there yet. But this does go and prove that, you know, Microsoft is making some of the right moves and things like that. Like I said, I still don't buy into this whole billions of gamers, especially since, like they said, they've launched all of this stuff through streaming, and yet you know, only a couple million people have even tried it, and that's not even saying who uses it concurrently. Like, I tried it, right? I mean, it looks like a flip book, but for me, right? And again, I'm not saying that nobody uses it, but a couple million people, when you can basically, you know, when there's supposedly 18 million Game Pass subscribers that can access this, and then you only have a couple million that have probably tried it, that's probably not a great look. So again, I'm very dubious on that whole, you know, hey, the cloud thing, mainly because, like I said, I've seen a lot of this come out before, where it's quite clear that what's going on is the people that are using it are already in their ecosystem, right? So it's not like you're getting a lot of outside people going, oh, I'm going to try this. So, you know, again, I don't really buy into the whole billions thing or whatever like that. I think that it's admirable that these companies want to keep trying to go out there and build beyond the same amount. Like I said, like Sean Layden was talking about this, like the same amount of people that are gaming on consoles now are pretty much the same ones that have always been gaming. And so we do have that to kind of look at and go, well, how do you grow that, right? Like, it's hard to do that. And I don't think that there really is a way to do that, you know, unless you do something like what Nintendo does, which is, you know, very much go like a casual route with what you're doing. They did that with the Wii. They kind of did that with the, you know, they did that same thing with, you know, the Switch, in my opinion. So this is good. Again, I'm not being facetious. This is a big congratulations to Microsoft. They really kind of fought their way back, and it looks like there is a very big competition on our hands. We'll obviously have to wait and see what happens. Now, so Microsoft has already set their trend with PC, right? Oh, all of their stuff is going to PC, and there's, you know, is what it is. Like, people have kind of come to grips with that. On the PlayStation side, you might have that blowback still, where that stuff is coming to PC, and, you know, that could hurt them long term. I know people might disagree with me there or whatever, but I'm telling you, just I can see that happening at some point. So anything can happen. But But at the same time, I think that this is, congratulations to Microsoft. They earned it, and I feel like, they continue to move in the right direction. I mean, this is a hell of a comeback for them. It took a long time, but I think that they are definitely on the right path, doing the right things to compete, which is all you can ask for if you're a fan, honestly. I mean, yes, a lot of these games are still a long time away, but they're at least out there trying, which you got to give them credit for that. So with that being said, I will link this and you guys can check it out. Let me know what you think. Fact them up. Crapgamer out.